Hi, today I'm going to show you guys, in this kit you're going to do the cornhole game. It's a tabletop cornhole game. So you'll get 2 tabletops with some legs, and then you'll get a couple stencils. So the first thing you're going to wanting to do is we're going to paint the background of our tabletop. So you'll just take one of your brushes, dip your brush in, and wipe off some of it. And you're going to start by just painting the sides, all around the sides first. This color is called Chesler. Kind of a dark blue-green color, and then you're going to paint the top. We'll need 2 coats. And we want to do nice long strokes here so we don't get any brush marks. And we want to do thin coats because if we do it too thick, we're going to see gobs of paint. And we can paint the inside of that little hole there too. Just take your brush and rub it in there. So we're going to let that dry, and then you can paint your second one, and then you have these little legs also. So you're going to want to paint the legs. And just work your way all around the sides. And then you can set it down and paint the top. So once we're done painting the one side and it's dry, you can flip them over and paint the other side, which I already have, so it's nice and dry. So I'm going to flip them back over, and this is going to be my front. And I'm going to give them, with this piece of sandpaper, I'm going to give them a sand. And it's just going to be a light sand, and it's just a quick light sand, just like that, and it'll smooth the paint out a little bit. So just a light sand, and you're going to do the same with the legs. And now we're going to paint a second coat on the tops because we don't need a second coat on the bottom. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to paint the sides first. And then set it, well, you can paint the inside of that little hole. And then paint the top. Just like that. Watch for any kind of drips on the sides. Take your brush, run it along the side. Now you're going to do the same with that one. You're going to give it a second coat, and then you're going to paint your feet all around, and then we'll let that dry, and then we'll apply the stencil. Now that our boards are nice and dry, we're going to apply the stencil. But before we apply the stencil, we want to give them just a nice little quick sand with your same sandpaper. And the same thing, we're just going to give it a light sand, just like that. And that should be good. So the stencil is a 3-part stencil. There's the back is the grid, the top is the transfer tape, and the black is the vinyl. That is what we're going to paint. So we need to remove the grid. So we're just going to pull it apart like this. If any black stays on this white grid, we want to push it back down and rub it down so no black is left on the grid. So we're just going to pull it off just like that. Then we're going to take it and we're going to line it up in the top, as close to the top and the sides. And then we're going to press it down, just like that. It might not line exactly in the circle, but it'll be good. And now we're going to pull off this transfer transfer tape, leaving the black on the board. So just like that. So sometimes you have to hold the black, you have to do two hands, hold the black down with your one hand and pull the transfer tape with the other. And the same thing, you want to make sure no black is left on the transfer tape. If it is, do the same thing. Push it back down, rub it down so no black stays on there. And you're just going to pull it off. Oh, you see how the black 3 stayed on my transfer tape? We're going to want to push it down. And now it stays there. Now we can remove this little circle that's in there, just like that, because now we're going to paint around there. So what we're going to do in order to seal the vinyl down, and we try not to get any paint bleed, we're going to give this, the whole vinyl stencil, a coat of our background color, which is this Chesler. And we're just going to give it a light coat, just around the edges on where we are going to paint. Just like that. And what this does, it seals the vinyl. So when we do actually put our color on, it won't bleed through. There. So now you're going to do the same thing for your other one. You're going to apply your stencil onto that and paint it just like that. So now we're going to let this dry, and once this dries, I'll come back and I'll show you how to paint the other colors on. So now that our stencil is dried, we are going to apply the buttermilk cream, which is the yellow color, and it's going to go all around this outside edge here and in the circle. So you're just going to take a little bit of paint, and you don't want to put too much paint on because there could still be a chance that it could bleed through. So you put a little bit on your brush, take some of it off, and then you're going to work your way around that little, around the circle. Same thing, dip it in. Go inside there. And now I'm just going to go around the outside edge there.
Thank you. You too. Have a good night.
Your first coat's not going to look very nice, but that's okay. It's going to look like you missed a bunch of spots. So that's it for the buttermilk cream. Then I'm going to take the azure and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go on the numbers and then the word that says coin toss. Same thing, dip your brush in and wipe it off. And you want to just do nice and light coats. And usually if you go nice thin coats, it doesn't take long for it to dry. That you could probably finish doing this coin toss and then start back on the yellow. I'm actually just going to go over here and do on my second one. And I'm just kind of dabbing it. So now that my first coat is nice and dry, I'm just going to repeat the same process. I'm going to do the yellow and then I'm going to do the blue. And that you should just need 2 coats. So now that our stencil is all nice and dry, we're going to actually peel off the vinyl. And so you're just going to grab a corner and peel it off. Just like that. And if you have a knife or a toothpick will work, or a pin, something to get underneath the vinyl if you can't grab anything. So I'm just going to grab a little corner here. And just pull it off like that. And then you'll have to also use your knife to get inside the circles, and you want to kind of go parallel to it so that you don't actually cut into the wood and pull off any paint. Just like that. Oh. There you go. So now once this is done, you're actually going to glue the legs on, and they will just get, you can just use some hot glue and you'll just glue them on just like that. Okay, so now I've glued the legs on, and you're ready to play your coin toss game. Thanks.